What I thought you said was interesting is that relationships fail, and it's like, well, they only fail because it was expected to last forever.
Yeah.
Like, if Charisma on Command doesn't last another 70 years, it wasn't a failure.
Yeah.
But if I get married today and we split in 30 years, that's a failure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a structure.
Or called a failure.
It's called a failure. And no, it's felt like a failure. And you asked, how do you get an email? I mean, I think that's safe to say that's at least a decade of not good.
Yeah.
Right?
What about just a bad week?
No, because you figure.
No,
okay,
we've all been in relationships.
If you had 27 great years,
Yeah.
four not so great, and you're religious, probably not going to do it.
No, listen, we've all had relationships that lasted longer than they should because it is hard to end a relationship. So if you're 31 years in, ending it via email, it was not good for 30 of those years.
Well, so my thing that I try to do in my own life, to middling effect, hopefully better than Sarah Palin has. Hopefully I'm not in a 31-year relationship that I suspect has been not great for a very long time. It's not a failure if it ends. It's not, and I think unfortunately, marriage is an institution that it's not a biological institution that reflects the way that men and women mate and pair up. It is a social institution that reflects the norms of the time in the post-agrarian, okay, we got to band together, form a family, pass down the lineage to the oldest son so that he can expand his little fiefdom, right? And make a bunch of children to till the farms. It's outdated. The people aren't going to like this. The lifetime vow, there's nothing biologically necessary in that lifetime vow. And if you look how people pair, it clearly doesn't work like that. So to hold yourself...
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's all different kinds of aberrations from the norm in every realm of things. But when you look at the way people pair, they do it for a period of time and then they split. And sometimes that period of time includes children, and sometimes it includes raising those children to the age where they can take care of themselves. Increasingly nowadays, I don't know what the stats are, but like you get the kids out of the house and it's like, okay, we could finally do this divorce that we've been planning since they were 6.
We had a friend that did that.
Yeah, we had more than one friend that did that. We had several friends who did that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my take. Is it's just, I only wish that for her sake and for other people's sake that they could have been, one, more honest with each other so it didn't arrive at a point.
I was going to ask, what can you do? Because I know another friend of mine that got blindsided by a divorce. And so I think that that's a thing that happens to people is they don't realize how unhappy their partner is.
Yeah.
How do you prevent that? What do you build into your relationship or build into your own personality? How can you make sure that you're not the kind of person that thinks your marriage is going well until you get served divorce papers?
So I think, I have no idea, I think you tell hard truths to your partner so as to model what they ought to do to you, which is, and people aren't going to like this, but like, if you find yourself falling out of attraction with them because they've whatever, put on weight or something like that, and this is an important aspect of the truth, you don't just blurt out, I'm not attracted to you. You communicate the whole truth, which is, I love you. This is difficult for me to say. I want to share this with you so that I'm not holding something back from you and then secretly resenting you. And I do this in the hopes that our relationship can actually get better. And you set a relationship that has an understanding that someone can communicate something that is in typical social society considered impolite or hard or you shouldn't say, but that becomes completely deal withable inside of your relationship because it's safe enough that both of you have said the things that you don't like about the other person, and you know that that's not a death knell for the relationship. That's what I try to do, but what will that mean? It means that my relationships will end. Now, the difference is they won't last 31 years. They will hopefully end more shortly after things turn not good because of the increased honesty, though I'm definitely not. You've seen me hang on a handful of occasions.
Never let go.
Never let go.
Never let go, Jack.
But certainly not 31 years.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know how long it was bad. I'm speculating, obviously. What do you think?
I just think they're hard. I guess the reason I wanted to bring it up is just so people recognize that it's hard for everyone. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, okay, what do I want people listening or watching to take away from this if I'm going to bring it up? Relationships are difficult. That's all. And so if you've been in a relationship that failed, or if you're in a relationship and you guys love each other but you're fighting, you're not doing it wrong. I think that what society sometimes would like you to believe is that it's all Disney and everything's great and things are awesome. And if one of you is attracted to other people, that's a personal failing. Or if you guys fight over something, no matter what it is, then you guys have relationship issues. That's just having a relationship, And so that was kind of my takeaway is I think people would be happier the more that we accepted being with someone forever is tough and requires sacrifice and doesn't always work. And if you're going to date anyone, you're going to fight with them at some point. Try to minimize it. I think you have to date a lot to kind of get a sense for what dating really is.
We've talked about this. Some of the people that do last, and I can't attest to how happy their relationships are those people who date the least.
Yeah.
They come from religious, small communities. They get married early, and I couldn't tell you what goes on behind closed doors, but they have often long-lasting relationships. So that's definitely your bias, that one ought to date a lot. Just throwing that out there.
Regardless, even if those people, let's say you met at 17. Here's another thing. You met at 17, you've never dated, and you and your wife are fighting because you're 35 now. That's what would have happened no matter who you married. I guess that's the takeaway. I think a lot of people think that they're in a unique situation where they're bad at dating or bad at being married. And when I read this, my takeaway was just like, this is really hard. I think people should accept that they're not doing it wrong just because it's not always Disney.
Sure, but I want to dig into why is it hard. So let me just start with this. What else in life is hard or that hard? I'm just curious. Is starting a business that hard?
I don't know. We got lucky.
Is getting in shape that hard?
Not for me. If you wait, when getting in shape's really hard? If you let it get really bad before you try to make it good.
So what I'm trying to establish is where in the list of normal person endeavors are relationships.
No, it's the hardest thing. That's my point.
It's the hardest.
It's the hardest thing.
So I think that has to be because of the structure of what we expect from them, which we talked about, or from it's the expectation that we put on it. Like what a relationship is expected to be. And so we talked about it might end, but the other thing that I've mentioned in some of the videos is that people are looking for mommy and daddy. And the reason that people do not fight with their friend of 15 years, I mean, you and I have argued at times. We've lived in a home. We've been close to married for a long time. And we do not fight anywhere near what I would expect a couple to at that amount of time. And I think it's because I don't expect you to be my mommy or my daddy. To complete me.
You complete me. What's that from?
Everything. That's Tom Cruise, baby.
Is it?
Yeah.
Jerry Maguire?
You complete me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't expect a friend to complete you.
And therefore, we fight way less, have been friends for over half of our lives, have lived together for years. Yeah. And
had to stop living together because we didn't like each other's girlfriends.
Who we were like, no, that she was expected to complete, yours was expected to complete you, mine was expected to complete me. I think that's...
my best friend, I have to stop living with him? Reasonable.
So why is this hard? It's because of the culture. It's because of the songs. It's because when you break up, Ed Sheeran pops on the radio talking about 70. I can't even do that. If I could hum on pitch, we would get demonetized. But I haven't been practicing, so we're okay. All of that stuff is, I think, what makes it so hard.
Sure.
It's the expectation that A, lasts forever, which is unreal, and the expectation that everyone has that this person is going to make everything better. And you see it in the early phases of a relationship where it's all they think about. Why? No one else wants to spend all that time with this individual. No offense to everyone out there. They're not universally, objectively incredible by everyone else's standards.
That is fun when you meet somebody or somebody meets someone for the first time. And it's like, I just want to spend all my time with you.
No one else does.
And you just got to reflect. This person has best friends that they've known for years that do not want to see this person 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
There may be something happening here.
Projection is what's happening. Well, projection might not be the right psychological term. Whatever it is, when you see better traits, your mother, your father, you feel completed by their presence. They validate you in a deep way that no one else possibly could.
Yeah.
That is almost... it's only loosely related to their actual behavior, because if it was one-to-one with their behavior, everyone would want to spend 7 hours a day with them.
Yeah.
It's only you. So it's not exactly what they're doing or who they are. And I think that one of the things that will hopefully make my relationships better is trying to fix the mommy-daddy trauma that every person has, which in short is expecting someone to complete you, to make things okay in this reality. And you can't get that, I don't think. You got that when you were little, and if you're lucky, you got that when you were little. and it's gone. It's over. It's time to grow up.
Nah. Dude, I'm just looking for my Jasmine, man. Just looking for my Jasmine.
Your Princess Jasmine, your magic carpet ride.
Dude, it's a whole new world. You'll understand.
And then you have to stop watching TV and listen to music.
Charlie will understand when he finds love.
Because we often do.
That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You'll change. You just never found love, man.
Yeah. We get, I have had my heart broken, and I did have what I thought was that, and I'm, not to be bitter on the other side of it, but I'm glad that I had that experience and came out. And now when I think of that person, I wish them well, but it's like, what? I was so ridiculously certain.
Yeah.
Like, how did that change occur? But yeah, the last thing is stop watching television and movies and rom-coms. They will mess you up. That is that's pornographic. It does what it does to your emotions, what pornography does to sex. It makes it this heightened thing that you can't possibly the real world live up to, and then you get erectile issues and all sorts of things.
It's actually it's happening less and less though, which is fun. There's this thing on Netflix, Paul Rudd's in it, Living with Yourself, I think it's called. I might be getting the title wrong, but the plot of it is partially that their marriage is hard.
Yeah,
I think there is starting to be a change where people show relationships more accurately. There's one that's all about single parents. I forget what it's about, and I'm sure it's a comedy, so it probably makes it look more fun and less hard. But it does center sometimes around the fact that it's hard to be a single parent. So I think the actual reality changed, and then entertainment is slowly catching up.
Yeah. All this to say, or not to be left out, is that I'm not anti-relationships. I'm encouraging a shift on the expectations placed upon those relationships. So they can still be great. You can still start a family. You can still do all of those things. But the two fundamental changes for me that I would recommend you consider are the forever aspect of it. That's a really tough one. And the you complete me aspect of it. I think that makes it very, very difficult.
And may I just say that your relationships in life are everything, and true love conquers all.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Charlie's wrong.
Anything else? Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.